Over the years, scientists have uncovered many of the human brain's mysteries and shortcomings that were securely hidden in our psyche. Today, we invite you on a journey inside your own head to find out what makes your consciousness work. This is 10 psychological facts that you probably didn't know. Number 10. We are constantly altering our memories. We tend to see our memories as small movies or video clips, but as it turns out, recollection of past events change every time they pass before our mind's eye. Their content is influenced by memories blackouts and by events that took place in the more recent past. Number 9. We can only have a limited number of friends. Psychologists and sociologists have come up with something called the Dunbar's number, the maximum number of people with whom a person can maintain close ties. So, even if you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, you can only have meaningful communication with 50 to 200 of them.
8. We feel happier when we're busy. This is due to the fact that our brain dislikes being inert and prefers to stay busy instead. A lot of people claim that the key to being happy is staying busy. This may be because for every task completed, our brain rewards us with dopamine, the hormone of happiness. 7. We need as little choices as possible. As part of a recent study, scientists set up two tables in a supermarket. On the first table, they placed 6 types of jam, on the second, 24. As a result, 60% of customers stopped to try jams at table 1. However, when it came to making purchases, table 2 proved 4 times more popular. As we already know, our brain can only focus on 3 to 4 things at a time. Therefore, making final decisions is easier when there's a limited number of options. Number 6. Most of our decisions are unconscious. We'd like to believe that all our actions are the result of careful planning, but in reality, 60 to 80% of our everyday decisions are made subconsciously. We don't think about those things, we just do them. Every second, our brain receives millions of units of data. To prevent overexhaustion, some of the work is relegated to the subconscious. Pocketing the keys, turning off the lights, closing the front door, we perform such things automatically, without thinking. 5. There is no such thing as multitasking. Studies show that we can only perform one cognitive activity at a time. Try talking and reading at once, or writing a letter while listening to an audiobook. Most likely, nothing good will come out of it. Our brains just can't focus on two things simultaneously. However, there is an exception. If the second activity is purely physical and automatic, the type of thing that we perform on a day-to-day basis, then it is possible to combine both tasks. For example, you can talk on the phone while walking, but even then there's a good chance of tripping and losing track of conversation.
4. We can memorize only 3 to 4 things at a time. Studies show that our brain can store no more than 3 to 4 pieces of information at once. In addition, this info can only be preserved for 20 to 30 seconds. After this time, we forget it unless we keep refreshing it in our memory over and over again. By the way, the fact that we find it easier to remember 3 to 4 pieces of information at a time explains why so many things consist of 3 to 4 digits or lines. This applies to phone and credit card numbers. 3. We don't predict our reaction to future events very well. We often think that we are going to react to a future event in a certain way, only for the event to actually take place, and thus to find that we reacted completely differently to how we predicted. We place hope in the ability of a single occurrence to be able to change everything, but we often find that it doesn't do much to change how we feel at all. 2. Our strongest memories are usually inaccurate. We feel like memories of traumatic events burn themselves into our minds to remain there forever. Studies have shown that the stronger the emotional state you were in during that event, the more the memory is inaccurate. And finally, number 1. We can only sustain a high level of concentration for 10 minutes. On the last place, we have the most interesting fact. It might be the answer to your concentration issues. Do you think you can concentrate on a task for more than 10 minutes? Studies indicate otherwise. On average, a person's attention span peaks for 10 minutes. Then the mind begins to wander. This is the end of the video. Thank you very much.